Like Angela White has been married for like 7 years.
She came in here and had Glennie Balls palming her. Tickets are on sale for KFC Radio Live. Click the link in the bio. Get yours. Come out and hang with the boys. All right, let's do it.
Let's get into it.
He was just saying he came from the Gary Vee office.
Came from Gary Vee's office, dude.
Oh,
I'm ready
so
to pitch you guys on Beanie Babies, the future.
Bro, well, the last time we, and I think it was the first time we ever did one at his office, he gets so jacked up. I don't know if you remember this. By the end of the interview, he was in his seat like this.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just sitting there like
that
this.
bottle service, dude. Just sitting
Dude, what is going on?
Sitting on top of the chairs.
You know what is so funny about him, and it speaks to just how stupid sports are and fandom is. You know, one of the smartest dudes out there can always see the trends and what's next and knows what to go in on, what to pull the plug on, all that. And then we'll sit there and be like, the Jets are winning the Super Bowl this year, bro. This is it this funny. Year.
Yeah.
I remember, and he's a Patriots fan. I'm a Jets fan, he's a Patriots fan. So I'm trying to level with Gary while being like, this is not
trying to be
case.
rational with
him.
And
he was like, yo, Adam Gase is the future. And I don't know if you follow, but he was like the worst coach, like one and done. Worst coach ever.
But it's all about confidence.
And
That's all.
But he, you know, so he's like, dude, you fucking moron.
That was,
and it's like a dumb idiot with like the world's best entrepreneur, but you were dead ass right. And you
it was
so
Super Bowl
stupid.
week too, and I'm often quite respectful to guests.
Yeah.
But it was Super Bowl week, and we'd had a few beers, and everything.
You're like, you're an idiot.
You hit the threshold, and you're like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. He's like,
I've listened long enough to your shit.
It's like, shut the fuck up, you idiot.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so much. I just wanted to look around the office. There's probably like 300 people working there. I just want to be like, what's happening? What
do you
this?
do? What do you
What is
actually
your
do?
department? Do you believe in your own job? There's just so many people. They're all on Zoom calls. Who are you talking? What's happening?
Yeah,
here?
dude, that is crazy too. It's the weirdest thing we see here sometimes with people like in the office on Zoom. It's like, why don't you guys just go upstairs to the meeting room? It's like I'm looking, I can see the icons. There's 4 of you here. They're all here.
Like, who are you talking to? Prove to me right now this is worth it.
He's got some same shit as Portnoy too, though. Like,
oh, that's right.
You see some of his old videos when he's in the wine shop with a fucking bowl cut, being like, buy this for like $19.99, and it's like that, and then that dude becomes, you know, this entrepreneurial monster the same way like Portnoy was like the ugliest man walking the face of the earth, and then becomes this like $200 million monster, and like how could you not become either in Dave's case like the most cocky, arrogant guy, or in Gary's case the most like everything I say turns to gold.
I'd get rid of Connecticut if I had that much money. I would just start dismissing states, taking them off the flag. Right? With that much money,
you're gone, Connecticut. Would that be the number one state to go?
No.
Because I was gonna say I know what you mean, but there's plenty of states we should go for.
Probably Washington. I don't know. They're a little gloomy. Nothing wrong with them. Seattle's got nice ladies, but it's a little gloomy. Get rid of them.
It's also just redraw the line. You're now part of fucking Canada. You know what I mean?
That's exactly.
Just like,
but you know how people are like very like 2023. They're like, if they don't bring you joy, cut them out of your life. Washington hasn't brought me joy ever. Every time I land, I go, there's something going on. I've never done heroin, but if there's ever a place, it's Tacoma, Washington, and there's something in the skies. Cut it out. Fun place for comedy.
Buy tickets. He's going in.
But I don't know. When you have that much money, what?
We had Jeffree Star in here, and he was doing Answer the Internet money, right? And one of the questions was like, something was, and then you get $1 billion, and he chose the other side of it, and I was like, come on, bro, like it's $1 billion, and just dead straight in the face, not trying to make a joke or anything. He goes, I can't spend the money I make now. What can I do with $1 billion? And I was like, God damn.
I don't know what it is. It becomes a certain point. It was like, I don't like to talk about how much money I have, but you hit a certain point where you want to talk about it. Like billionaires are like, I'm a billionaire. But if you have a couple million,
they can say that, and it's like okay,
right? But like, there's something about like people knowing how much money you have where it's like weird. But then if you're a billionaire, you're like, I'm a billionaire. There's something about it where you just say, and people are like, hats off to you.
It's also weird, like in sports, everybody knows your contract, so you just know that this guy has $200 million. The rest of it, everyone's like, how much do you think he's worth? Let's look on Celebrity Network.
Maybe it's curiosity.
I'm gonna take it down a level from you two. It is like when I'm chubby and I'm like, no one talk about how fat I am. Okay. But when I'm really fat, I'm like, guys, I know too.
That is true.
Yeah,
I know you all know. Yeah. I know too.
It's just that middle ground. That middle ground. What's going on here, bro?
I wish I don't think it should be weird to talk about money. if you want to, I would absolutely talk
because you
openly.
have money, you're rich. Well, we get it.
But
that's the side of the coin you're on.
Yo, it's so weird because, and maybe this is just like I'm bad at being rich so far. Nothing has changed. I am buying a house, so that is a big change. But I am not like
how big is the house?
You know, it changes everything. It's big, but it was a good deal. Put it this way: it's a house that I could have bought before the big money.
So you've always
it's not like I went and bought like a $10 million mansion. But all right. See, this is why it gets weird.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Motherfucker.
But that's what it is.
But this one I bought with all cash in a duffel bag.
Yeah. But
you know what I mean?
Mortgage rates are terrible right now. So if you're buying a house right now, people are just like, "Oh, you got bad."
Yeah.
It also depends on the place you live.
Yeah.
You know, DeStefano's got a gorgeous place, but you're like, that's
You live in Staten
Island.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all.
I'm surprised DeStefano didn't buy Staten Island. The
Had
whole
some
damn
leftovers.
thing.
I went to his house. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful. Man.
I don't know East Coast at all. I was like, dude, this place is nice.
Yeah.
Like, this is
It's
not.
not.
This is not.
It's not the real
DeStefano, when he greeted us with Chris Chaos a while ago, I threw up in his backyard.
Great place to throw up. In his current house?
Wanted to add that.
It's nice. It's got a
yeah.
pool. Throw
Yeah,
up.
yeah, threw up right on the
patio.
deck.
That feels right.
I had a Subway tuna melt on the way. But
What made you puke? We looked at some gross shit, right?
We looked at. I had the Subway tuna melt with extra mayo, and then
Extra mayo?
Despicable, right?
Yo, I don't
And I
know.
think didn't
I was like hungover or something. I was like,
I don't
think
even
it was
need to
like
know your
hungover.
bank account to know what it is after that sentence.
I'm pretty sure
Extra
you like
mayo?
left it out as well. It was like old. It was like
no,
an
I got
extra
it on the way
level.
because I remember walking by the Subway going,
There was something
I need
gross
that
there.
right
I remember
now.
being like, "You are truly despicable."
That is a sandwich that like you would definitely eat alone and be like, this is fucking good. But like if you're at a party, you're like, oh, I guess there's only tuna. I guess I'll eat it. It does. It's
Dude,
great.
speaking of DeStefano and being at a party, we were at DeStefano's fucking launch party for
super retro.
Super Retro. And we stole a set from it. And we were talking to Joe DeRosa. Joe DeRosa catered the party. And DeStefano said, probably one of the only people to ever cater the launch party for a show that they're on. Mm-hmm. And DeRosa brought a bunch of sandwiches and we're trying them from Joey Rose's. And they were delicious. They were really good. And then he starts telling us how, I forget what comedian it was, but a comedian had left because he was eating a sandwich. And he's like, dude, I'm allergic to peanut butter. Is there peanut butter in this? And DeRosa goes, you're eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That's 1/3 of it. Bread,
he's like,
peanut butter, jelly.
The guy's like, I gotta go. I'm about to have a really bad allergic reaction.
I'm gonna die now.
I gotta go. He had to go
some
find
reason,
Benadryl. I don't think he ever
In
came
my
back.
head, once you turn like 28, you're not allergic to peanuts anymore. Like, I feel like it's not an adult. Like it's a kid thing on a flight, but you're an adult being like, oh, is that Jif?
It's one of the that is like the number one thing of like when we were growing up, there was no allergic to peanuts, you know,
Right,
like what,
yeah.
but it really does feel like that. I don't know what it is, or were there kids who were just like going home from school that day and we didn't notice? And you went home.
Do they still check for lice at school?
I never got checked.
I don't know if
I got checked
either.
for spina bifida.
What the
or
fuck?
What's the other
Is that a
one?
form of scoliosis?
Scoliosis. Yes.
You
yes.
did?
Spina bifida.
But like,
you
what
do
do
not
they
get
do?
checked
You're like
for.
at school, you're like, yeah, it's a little fucked up. It looks like a lowercase s. All right, get out of here.
100.
What
dude,
can they do
with that?
Dude, 100%. Because I just recently got an X-ray on my neck because when I sneeze, my arms go numb. And
Hold on.
that's exactly what the sports doctor said.
Yeah.
Hold on. I said it in passing. I was like getting my elbow
sneeze
checked,
and
and
you
she's
go
like,
numb?
does it ever get numbness? I was like, no, just when I sneeze. And she's
Bro,
like,
this
hold
guy
on.
goes to the doctor and they're like, have you ever experienced like shortness of breath? He's like, yeah. Like, is your heart rate up? Yes. Like, do you have like panic attacks? Like, check. And they're like, are you not doing anything about it? He was like, I just thought that's what it's like when you get old.
Took some Advil and I'm here.
I was like, I watch a lot of stand-up comedy. They always say once you hit 30. I'm like, yeah, it seems like they're performing. They're joking.
Doctors are booked out. I need to go to a doctor. My main lady, she's booked out for like 3 months. I'm like, bitch, are you Diplo? I mean, you were just literally booked out for 3 months. Then you got to go to like the student doctors and you ask them a question like, that's more of a dermatology question. I'm like, fucking answer me this.
Yeah. I need
Am
a
I
jack of
okay?
all. I need someone who can like look at my teeth, my eyes, my
Yes.
ears, my weight, my this,
Just
my
to
that.
tune
my
up for your
you
carb
can go
in
up
your
my
body.
ass. You can look at my toes. You can do all of this shit. I don't
We
want
skip
to.
past something. What was that?
Dude, I recently went to the doctor and he was like, what medication are you on? And I had forgotten the name of it. And I was like, I'll get back to you. I'll call you after and I'll go home.
Oh, dude, you gotta get out on the table right then and there. There's no, I'll get back to you.
Dude, so I fucking go home. I find out. I try to call him. It's like a health service here. So I'm calling. I'm like trying to hit the buttons. I can't get through. And I tried for a few days. And I was like, I'm just gonna. It's not far from my apartment. I'm just gonna walk over there.
Oh yeah,
Bro, walking into a doctor's office without an appointment, they thought
you
they
like
were
you're a
like,
maniac.
"What are
Dude,
you,
you're
a fucking
unhinged. It's like
rebel?"
smoking a cigarette inside. You're like, what is wrong with
That
this?
actually
they-
is kind of crazy.
They were like, I was like, no, I'm
respect
just
it,
here to tell Dr. Asher like what medicine I'm on. Like,
Like,
do you
doesn't
have
work here,
an
sir?
appointment? I was like, no. I
should just
I imagine
say
it's on
something
my
to him.
file. Can
We're
you
boys.
just put
He's
it
seen
on my file?
sack, dude, let me in.
I was like, I don't have to see him. I told him I was going to call. I don't think
Why
I.
wouldn't you just email him or something?
I don't know their email
But
address.
yeah, it's so hard to get a hold of.
Bro, now it's all portal shit. I'm like an old man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how to log into a fucking portal.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm better than the internet.
Yeah.
I'm showing up. I feel that way though too.
Yeah.
You know? It's like I deposit checks at the bank. So the mobile one, I don't know if it works.
Yeah.
I'm there just doing like $20 checks from stand-up spots, and then I'm just
or depositing if you have cash in a check, like putting it into the machine.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's gonna eat it,
and I'm an idiot.
and
I do it
that
at like
cash
midnight.
is
I'm
gone.
like,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
not
I don't do
weird.
cash. I don't deposit cash.
Yeah, because it feels like
'Cause
that
you're
they're
running
just
from
gonna.
the IRS. I get it. Yeah.
Also, it could just be like, it could just say on the screen like, yeah, we just deposited your $1,000, but did you? Because I'm not gonna sit there and check.
I really have stopped trusting technology. It's happened pretty quickly.
That's the old man.
I need
I got
like
hit with $40,000 of fraud the other day.
Yeah, but you're rich.
Bro, I'm not.
What do you mean, dude? Because the same shit happened to me. Somebody was running a full phone number off my number.
Yeah,
from
it must have
Verizon.
been some shit like
my
that.
credit
because
was like plummeting. I'm like, why? Good guy.
I got one text that said like, "Did you PayPal like Enrique in Texas for $500?" And I said no, and it said like, "Okay, you've been like compromised.
Fraud, yeah.
We'll cancel your card and send you a new one." I was like, pfft. I actually, to be honest, I knew I needed to pay my nanny, and I knew I needed this card to be active. And I got like the fraud alert on, let's say, a Thursday.
Yeah.
And I needed to pay her the next day. And I was like, I don't want my card to be canceled and all that shit.
Right.
So I let it ride like one day. And that day
Enrique
they did
ran it up?
damage, bro. And so I go on I also don't look at my banking like every day. And all of a sudden I'm just scrolling. It was PayPal. It was like Zelle. It was
Once
Cash
it was
App.
Cash App is where the red flags
It
are.
was MoneyGram, Instacash, Western Union,
Yeah.
Bell,
Just says the
whatever.
homie.
And it was just like $1,000, $1,800, $500, and I knew it was a lot. And I was like, I call up the fraud people, and they're like, let's go through the charges. And I give them 1, 2, 3, and they're like, okay, we'll take a look at these. And I was like, buddy, buckle up. It was a lot more. And they started adding it up, and it was like almost like $40K.
That is tough.
And I think they put it all back in, but I was like, motherfucker. I think I just had done some dumb shit too, where I like, they say like don't text don't text your info, like,
Right.
And I think I like sent my mom some info or some shit, and like the next day that shit happens. Because I was like, how does that? What do you mean? Like someone's like watching?
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is yes. I don't know how, but they're fucking doing that
I
shit.
mean, I think everybody's done with that. Like, I'll be on a flight and I'll like buy Wi-Fi, and I'm like, pull out your card, and I'm like looking at the guy next to me, like, do I trust this man? He's asleep, and I'm like, yeah, but are you? And I'm like in the bathroom putting in
Likely
my
story.
in my
sleeping
my
next to
coats
me.
and all that shit. Yeah, who knows?
I remember Portnoy. We were at the Super Bowl in Minnesota, however many years ago that was, and he left. Do you remember the number?
I think it was 10.
10K.
10 was the fucking when we got arrested with the Brady 4.
I think Minnesota's higher.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's say like 20 grand. And he left like 20 grand. He was gambling. He either won, lost, whatever it was. He left 20 grand in cash in the top drawer of the dresser of the Airbnb we like rented out.
Yeah.
And he was just like, it's in God's hands. Like, that's gone now. He was like, the cleaners came through. They like definitely stole it. And then I'm going to have to like fight them
Cleaners left
for
their
it.
family.
Yeah.
And
He was just like, meh. And I was like, and I mean, now he would probably leave like 200K in there because this was before he was rich. But I was wondering, like, what is the number?
Dude,
at every level of life, there's a number. Like,
Yeah.
if I dropped $5 on the ground,
my level is
whatever.
probably AirPods. If I lose AirPods on a flight,
That's a good one.
that's I'm not going to turn
I've
around
got like
as
5
a
of those
grown adult looking under the seat for it.
Yep.
That's in God's hands now.
I'm team. I've been
Hopefully-
team Wired ever since.
dude,
I think that was a perfect example of technology not being better.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got Wired with me right now, which is
That's
funny
what's
because I
up.
made videos all the time about AirPods, and then I'll be wearing the wires like, dude, the videos in the wire. I'm like, listen, man, Hollywood's not what's made up to be. We got secrets, dog.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, you drop one pod under like the seat on Metro North on the train.
Yeah.
You're bending over with your ass in someone's face. It's like,
it's the inconveniences where you like lose like an iPhone charger in the hotel, and you're like, I'll get one at the airport, and then like $70. You're like, how the fuck? Explain to me your markup of 8,000%
for a fucking
and they're always 12 feet long.
Those are the best ones, though.
I think the ones that are long,
I mean, when you're in public,
like carbon fiber, you know,
the ones that are made of like metal.
Dude, it's so long.
Those are what they use. What the mob uses to like choke people out playing a piano.
The piano wire with the handles on the side.
The cops like, what is this? Like, hey, it's an iPhone wire. If it was Android, you have different questions. Damn, man, hit with the Cash App. That's gnarly.
Yeah, they got me good, man. But it is kind of dope how they're just like, we got you back.
That is nice.
It's like, all right, cool.
That's why I heard you should do everything on credit because it's the bank's money.
I'm such a child. I'm still.
You do debit?
I'm still.
Dude, I'll rob from you, dude.
Yeah,
That's fucking. You're dumb,
well, you know
dude.
what it was? This is the thing. This is why I say like nothing's changed. When I didn't have money, I hated having a fat credit card bill at the end of the month or whatever. Yeah. And I know it's all the same, but it's just like when you pay $20 here, $100 here, blah blah blah, instead of like $10,000 at the end of the month or whatever. So I was like, I knew I would also get a little loose with the credit, like I'd be buying stupid shit, you know.
Yeah.
So I kept myself accountable, and now, and probably in recent years, with the level of money I have now, being on a debit card is fucking insane. Like the most childish thing about me.
Bro, once I hit 30, I was like, I can't be dropping a red card at dinner. This looks ridiculous.
I went to dinner with my buddies for the first time in like a long time, and usually we all split it up, but I paid for it, and
you're 2 mezcals deep, and you're like, Papa's got it.
But it got declined.
No,
really?
But like, I just had to say yes, and then it worked. But it was this funny thing because I was like, I got it, and all my friends tried to say no, and I was like, fellas, like, I missed the last few get-togethers anyway. I obviously can afford it now. It's all good. She was like, it didn't work. It didn't go through, sir. Okay.
Did you try tapping it?
Yeah.
Tapping it? I will say, you get the Sapphire card. I got the Chase one. When that boy hits the check, you feel good, dude. But the decline shit is funny. I remember a girl I dated for a couple of years. Anniversary, she really wanted this purse. And I was like, that's fucking pricey. She really wanted it. And I was just in the mindset, I'm so like go, fucking Gary V shit, that I'm like, swipe, cool, good, keep it moving. You know, you're happy, you got the bet. And it's at the Chanel store. And my card declines in front of her. And she's like, do you want to just put it on my card? And I'm like, I'm such a fucking Jew. I'm like, yeah, I want the points. I'm on the phone with my bank. And the lady's like, no, I can put it on her card. I'm like, no, I'll put it on my card. I'm like, yes, that's the right amount. It's stupid. They keep repeating it.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
God, but the humbling moment when you get that text, is this you? And you're like, yes.
I had that happen. I had that conversation once at an eyeglass shop. I was just getting, Sam, this is probably 7-8 years ago now. I was getting standard glasses. And like, you know when you're in like a quiet room and you're like, I know they can hear the other side. Like, I'm not on speakerphone.
You click down and go,
yeah.
And they know you're trying to hide that.
Yeah, you got a cop. Each one. Sorry, I have COVID.
But it was like, well, it wasn't declined because of charges, like the amount. It was declined previously, and I hadn't used it since. And they were like, sir, did you, is a $50 charge from Brazzers?
No.
I was like, yes, fuck, yeah. Like anything else, yes. If that's the last charge, it was like a Saturday morning, I'd gone, Friday night, came home with a buzz, alone, and was like, I'll pop on some porn. And I was like, I know she fucking heard this. I know. She's like, this fucking pervert can't even see.
Because
he's been spending
close to Brazzers.
Bleeding because he's watching Brazzers all day long.
You can see close enough to get your credit card information. That's like one of the coolest things I think I've ever done in this. We shot a sketch on the Bang Bus. Not porn, but the guy gave me a lifetime pass to all those websites.
Hell yeah.
So it's some crazy cryptic like wingdings type code.
Yeah. I think we got a year's worth from Aria.
From Pornhub,
that one time.
Oh, that is nice. But that was big. Cool. I forget about it all the time.
You get like 12 other sites too. It's like a whole new world. And
it's almost too much. Where I do
like
the
a diner menu.
I can't even decide what to watch when I'm eating. I'm like, I got my dick out, and I'm like, okay, do we do Bang Bus or we doing the sister-in-law stuff?
Porn, I'm like with like Google, where it's like I'm feeling lucky. Like, put on whatever. I'll handle the rest.
Well, especially if you got the password, because then you are, if you totally roll the dice on the regular Pornhub front page, you might see some gross shit, some weird shit, some bad shit. you're logged in. You're gonna get some high quality 4K quality shit, no matter
It's too
what.
much.
Curated.
Yeah, you had a good run. I feel like Mia Malkova.
Oh yeah, I mean the thing was we had a few porn stars on our podcast.
Let me tell you, it works. You get a lot of attention.
Well, that's the interesting part. Is Mia came on, and then her friends hit us up like, "Hey, I want to do this," and we're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then Michael and I, who are doing the podcast with, we're at like an event, like at a convention thing, and everyone's like, "Dude, you guys do the porn podcast?" And I'm like, "Guys,
I know.
you got to scale it back a little."
We've
bit.
definitely got hit with that tag a few times.
But
The
I
porn
do-
podcast. First of all, I said it. I'll say it forever. Out of every industry we've ever had on the show, adult workers are the nicest, coolest, most down to earth,
and some of those business-oriented ones.
Yeah.
and they
for sure.
they reshare, they
Yes.
post like they, a lot of times people forget why we're doing this fucking guest shit, and
everybody benefits from
Yeah,
it because
and
they're promoting their name to a bunch of people who are like now maybe checking out their website, their OF or whatever the fuck. But like, I mean, Angela White was an example where like her answers were so like businesswoman and smart and like media trained, and I don't know what I was expecting, but I was like,
you have your stereotype in your head,
Right.
and I'm sure there's a ton of like dumb
But just
whatever
how
porn
she
stars who do it,
carried
but the
herself.
top dogs.
And she was like describing her fans, and I like tried to like be like, "Oh, that guy sounds like a creep," but she's like, "No, I love all my fans," and I was like, "I'm the weird one now."
Yeah, I know. Angela White
But
was
also,
in here.
that's one like you talk off air. They're like, oh yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, you love signing the autographs to the guys.
He
who
buys
come.
my houses, but yeah, he's a fucking.
Conversations are honestly, they're just fascinating.
They are. When we had Asa Akira, she used to be a co-host of ours. She was the third chair for like a year or two, and I was like, "You're the most fascinating person in the, like." There are porn stars who are do what you do, and there are people who write books, and there are people who are as smart as you. But there's not one person who does all of that shit, you know. And so when you can have like a real conversation, and then she can also tell you about the time she did triple anal, I'm like, there's not another person on the planet.
Have a question after that. If you said you're a triple A, I'm like, yeah, that's crazy, man. Oh, what a wild night, the fraud. But like, if she says, you're like, tell me, how does this even work?
Yeah.
Where are they staying? Is
Give
it
me the
daylight? Is it nighttime?
logistics. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's fascinating. It's also what the people want.
Yeah,
It's
but
like-
but there is that unfortunately you start to get the tag of I personally don't care. It's a lot like talking about money. It's like I don't care. There's going to be sponsors and other people who go like, whoa, I don't.
I mean, we try to spring. It's like we'll do an episode like that, and then we'll go just solo, and then we'll do like the Bobby Lees and like those people I love talking to too.
Yeah,
it's like I don't have like a favorite type of guest. It's just like it's hard to see the numbers that does. And then be like, well, let's interview a Stanford student. It's like, what? How many times have you done anal? Huh? On campus with the tree mascot,
bro. When we started like a company on the back of a Bella Danger, with answer. I mean, her answer to the internet did like 10 million views, and then we launched the card game. And I'm being a little bit exaggerating, but like she's by far she did it like 3 or 4 times. And she had the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 highest views ever.
There's an audience for it. People listen, people watch.
But she's also one that can, we're going to hit sex in the conversation. But she also was talking about, bro, she went to college.
She's going back to school.
Yeah. So
we talked to her at the AVNs.
Did she tell you about the debate team? She's on the debate team.
Yeah.
So now imagine, you're like, she said she stepped up to like the podium or whatever the fuck it is. And there's like a 19-year-old sophomore who now needs to debate, the Reconstruction era of the Civil War America, and you walk up and it's fucking a Bella Danger. Like, she said he was like,
it feels like the final level boss that the debate team would send in and be like, you think you got this handled? Here's a Bella.
It's like, I'm sure she's good at it, but she doesn't even need to be. She could just be like, I'm going to watch you crumble before my eyes.
You've seen inside of me.
Literally, a speculum. I've seen inside. But I feel like
it's just like fascinating to me. Like I met Johnny Sins and I was like, dude, when was like the last scene you did? I met him at like 2 p.m. and he goes, today. I'm like, dude, I got a coffee.
Doing a scene
today.
right
And I
now.
was like, highlight. But like this, just the schedule they're on and how they eat and everything. It's a fascinating world.
And
Dude, I set alarms to fuck.
Literally.
That's crazy.
Literally, you
But if I have
control
morning
alarms,
sex,
I have
it's
fucking
because
alarms.
I rolled over and someone was there. I
It's
never was like, all right,
3:07,
time to go
cock
fuck.
time. Yeah.
I hate
fascinating.
the idea that there is a stigma where it's like they're like, you guys are like obsessed with porn or whatever. It's like I can do this and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You're the one who seems to have some issue with it.
Right.
You're talking about it's like, I'll talk to a porn star, and then the next day talk to an athlete,
also,
next day
like-
talk to a comic. You're the one who seems to be grasping
There's
on
also
to
like
all
no
the
like
porn
sexual
episodes.
tension. It's not like
Yeah.
we like have them on. Like the comments like, I bet they fucked after this. No, they are out of there.
For real.
They're like, had a fun time. I got 14 other things to do
And
today.
most often we've seen when we get to know someone, they come on the show a few times. I actually stop watching their shit.
Yeah.
Not totally. Some people
Name
are
drop.
Yeah.
Well, also,
But,
like you're talking
know,
off camera,
it
and they're
gets
like
a little-
all married, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, like Angela White has been married for like 7 years.
She came in here and had Glennie Balls palming her pussy. She was trying to explain how she likes, I guess, like a palm on her clit instead of fingers. And so she's literally she's standing like this, and she's like, so if you just kind of
New York City taxi cab.
so she was like, if you just kind of do it like this, and Glennie's on the other side of the couch, and he's kind of doing it wrong, and she was like,
Onto her?
can you just come here, and she just like put his hand like on her, and she was like, if you just push like this, and Glennie's like, oh, interesting, okay, cool.
Yeah, what is his mind?
He's on a whirlwind.
Losing
Bro.
it.
He is on a roller coaster because he's like the king of the, like, he has the keys to the kingdom right now.
Yeah.
Because these girls come to him and they're like, if I go on Glennie's show, I'm going to get 5,000 new subscribers. And that's a life-changing amount of money for some of these girls.
Oh, yeah.
So they're hitting up fucking Glenneth Balls. Can I come on your show? Can I come on your show? And he's like, maybe.
But that's why everybody benefits. We get the views, and
Yeah.
more people find out about the podcast, but then more people like Google them and search their OnlyFans and what they're all about.
And you hear the craziest shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's been times where like when the episode of like whoever was on was like Emily Willis, then after our episode, she was like trending on Pornhub because of just like the clips and everything. So it's like
We put
everybody benefits.
Abella's Answer the Internet uploaded to Pornhub as well. So
She did it on her channel.
So like if you search her shit, there's like all her regular stuff, and then like a
Do you guys
Barstool
have like a
video.
brand deal in there?
What's that?
Did you sneak a brand deal?
We
in
should
there?
have.
But I think the crazy thing is, I believe, and Paz, maybe check this out. I believe her Answer the Internet on her Pornhub channel has a million views.
Wow.
Like someone's going to jerk off and like, you know what, Abella's being funny. I'll put this thing away for a little bit.
Yeah, would you rather have no arms or no legs? I gotta know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have gone with legs.
3.3 million.
3.3.
Give me some. Read some
Dude,
of the
do you know how
comments.
funny you have to?
That's like half of California.
How like interesting and funny something has to be for someone to put their
What's like the
hard
number
dick
one
away?
comment? I bet the comment is
I was
like, I
gonna
came
say,
here to jerk off.
read
Learn
the
to
top
love.
one of those.
Big fan from Portland, Maine.
Bella linked the YouTube.
Okay.
And then the next one is I think that Scarlett Johansson is now legally obligated to make and release a sex tape.
Oh,
I think her answer was like,
And
what's
then
the sex tape I
the other
wanna
one,
watch?
it's always interesting to see celebrities away from what they usually do.
That's why we do it.
Especially when it's something that actually allows to see their personality.
Oh, there you have it.
And then the third one is not my best fat, but yeah.
That's the real one. That's the fucking real one right there. That's great.
Right there.
I feel like I started following along with Stiff Socks and seeing all the clips right around like when me and Malkova was coming on and shit. Had you already popped and you were on your way,
we've
or
been
was
doing
that
it
a big turning point, or was that just? It might just be because that's when I started following. But were you always killing it?
I think that really like we had a steady core like every week would be like the same like 40K on YouTube and then like the same like 75K on audio. It was like every week, the same like core group who's great, right? And then we did that, and then it's just like this whole new wave of just like people that came in. Then everything started to
And they
slow
stuck
down,
around?
sort of. What's that?
They stuck around.
Some.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of people who are just fucking horned up and they're just
Right.
like,
That's
waiting
the
for the
thing.
boss and they're like, what the fuck?
That is
That's
crazy
what
to
you
me
do.
how-
It's like bring the horny people, and they're like, and actually, those two guys were kind of funny.
How much that lasts? Because like it definitely.
Being horny.
No, like the because there's
10
so
minutes,
much of it, and maybe it's just because who I follow, and like it's because of there's so much OnlyFans on my feeds now, and there's so much like other shit. But like, it seems like there are so many sex podcasts now. Where like
There's a lot.
We
yeah.
were like the tag of like the porn podcast for. I mean, granted, it was a fair tag. Our co-host was Asa Kira. She's one of the most.
But it was
famous
also a
women of all
time where we were just like a little early. Like, I mean, a lot of brands were a little nervous, and a lot of people were like, all they do is talk about sex. And while that wasn't necessarily true, perception kind of becomes reality and all that shit.
Yeah.
But also, fast forward, probably that was like 3, 4, whatever years earlier. Alex Cooper became fucking Oprah.
Yeah.
And all she was doing was talking about jalapeno seeds in your dick hole after you have sex with a Mexican woman. You have anal with a Mexican. Like it's crazy how much the world just became like I don't know if it's a feminist movement or whatever, but they were just like, yeah, no, we're gonna talk about
Well, I think
this.
it's also interesting because you can listen to it in public, and it's not like a YouTube screen where it's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not like if you're watching that on a bus, people are like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
But if you're
for
just
sure,
listening
for
to it walking
sure.
around, like it's a little more like private. So I think that
Yeah.
people kind of feel more comfortable with that.
I recently moved to the privacy screen
Oh, you got that one?
because I was always like, I was like, God, people are looking at me.
Well, actually, out in New York, I get there's always people over your shoulder.
It was like someone at the airport was like, "Oh, on Twitter a lot, huh?" And I was like, "All right." I was like, "No, like it was literally it was probably a month ago." And I was like, "And the freedom I look at anything now."
Yeah.
So also, I follow a few porn stars.
You're
like,
watching porn on the bus, aren't you?
Yeah, people on the show.
Twitter will give you porn whether you like it or not.
Yeah, so like there'll be times where like, I'm scrolling, I'm like, whoa, because
Yeah,
also
of
like
course.
like a lot of porn stars, and it might have even been them who kind of like inspired me to start using social less because I could tell their social habits. Whereas like I was like, oh, they come on, have 3 tweets, a couple retweets, and they're gone again.
Yeah.
And I was like,
You're
that's
I gotta check the boxes.
I thought that was cool, but also if you're scrolling in public, you end up in a fucking well where you're like, oh shit, there's like 9 naked photos in a row. I gotta scroll fast, and I'd get so uncomfortable with that. Now I'm just like, I'll slowly scroll.
But
now.
if somebody's directly behind you, they can see it. Just the sides they can.
Yeah.
yeah, you have to
Yeah,
be
look, I'll
like.
show you. Like if like you probably
Oh, nothing.
can't
Looks like
see
it's
that.
off.
Yeah.
People probably think you're just staring at an off phone all day. How hungover is this guy? Turn it on, please. Lord of God, where's my
Not even
12-foot
you're
iPhone
typing
charger? Typing on nothing. Well, that was like, I feel like in like college, if you wanted to like look busy or like at a party or you didn't know anybody, you just pull out your like calculator and fake type on there. People probably just think you're doing that shit in the corner. Just checking Venmo transactions.
Make sure you didn't get hacked.
That's
again.
where the dirt happens, by the way. You want to see who's
Venmo
fucking who
transactions?
and shit.
Well, dude, you can see who's
You
doing
follow
drugs.
those.
It's really,
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild they have. I know Snapchat took that away years ago, where it's like your most Snap people, but like Venmo's still just like who's doing. It's like if you send somebody a snowflake emoji, probably drugs.
Yeah.
You're not even hiding it at that point.
Yeah.
No, that's what I do for rent. I do when I buy drugs, I put rent.
Rent 3 times this weekend.
$2,700.
Labor Day, big weekend. You know?
Dude, I had a girlfriend who she gave up social media for Lent. The relationship didn't last because she was a person who gave up things for Lent, and she was like,
You gave up her for like.
and she's like, yeah. I was like, so what do you do all day? Like, you're still on your phone a lot. What do you mean you're not on social media? And she's like, I just scroll Venmo. And I was like, that's fucking
that's
bizarre.
weirder and
After
worse.
you
I
do
don't
social
give a
media, you
fuck
do
what you
other
say.
weird. You're looking through like QuickBooks. It's like it makes sense. Yeah, it's like what you do to stimulate your brain instead of that is almost worse.
Yeah.
I really
done that.
can't believe how much people used to just sit and think. And we were. How old are you now?
30.
You're a little younger than me, but yeah, you were around for prior to that. It was just like you just would think about things.
You just put a Walkman on it.
Yeah, I guess music really was a lifesaver.
Music
That's why
kinda was
iPods were the
that,
shit.
yeah.
But if if it was
Like
dead,
at
or
Benny's, the fuck would you just
right?
wait?
You just sit there. You're on the train, and you don't have your music. You don't have service, whatever. And you're just like,
Well, now it's weird to see somebody not doing anything. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not nice. to
Yeah,
be on
like
a
if
flight,
you-
you just
Which is why
got the
I
whole
intentionally
you
don't.
see someone on it. Everyone else has their head down, or they're watching a
Everybody's
tablet. If there's someone who's
stimulated.
just
I've seen it.
that person
Seen it.
has a bomb strapped to their chest.
You putty it.
You what?
Putty it. That's
that?
what David Putty did in Seinfeld.
Yeah, or you
where,
just sits
where
there.
Elaine's like, you don't have a book or anything? He's like, no.
He just sits
And
there
she's
like
like, well, do you want to borrow a magazine? He's like, no, I'm good.
Crossword puzzle?
And she's like, so you're just gonna sit like I think they Elaine and Putty broke up all the time, but I think they break up over. She's like, so you're just gonna sit here the entire
You'll see
flight.
it. I saw
He's
it
like, yeah,
probably
fine.
a couple months ago. A guy just sitting there, just stone cold.
That's
just
either
staring
a
at the back of
person
the seat.
who's crazy or like happy.
I think
Because
it's
if I'm
at peace.
if I just have my thoughts, I'm like, oh, wait about this, what about that, what about this? I gotta go on Twitter and look at somebody else's shit.
I mean, it's hilarious that the fact of flying isn't enough.
I know. Yeah.
Your entertainment can be
You're gonna look
outside
at
the
like
window.
the most beautiful, unbelievable. We're 30,000 feet in the air.
You know, maybe
No.
just experiencing,
check my
just trying to
email.
take it all in. Right. But I have to be like, I like edit on flights because I don't like to think that I'm like, oh, I'm just in a tube in the sky.
Yeah.
You know, I like take my head off.
I
I'm
actually
like,
do find flights to be the one place I used to be able to just sit on the couch, watch TV for 100 hours, be good, no problems. Now I get anxiety. I feel like I'm being lazy. I'm like, I should be hanging out with my kids. I should be doing more work, whatever. But when you're in a plane, it's like, that's it. You
have
can't.
yeah.
So let me put on Fast and Furious 5.
Yeah.
Fast 5 and just fucking watch it 2 times in a row. Let me just
Seeing
knock
a guy
out
watch
for
it twice in a
nap.
row. Like, that's a guy who's a bomb shot.
listen to this. So he loves that shit. He loves Fast and Furious.
Big fast guy.
And
That's
I've
great.
seen a couple here and there, but I'm like, I gotta watch with you. I gotta like get the references. We gotta watch them together one day.
Yeah.
So I think I had fallen asleep we were going to Amsterdam. It was like 8 hours or whatever. So I fell asleep for a little while. I wake up and he's like halfway through the movie. And I was like, tell me where you're at, and I'll just fast forward to that point. Like, and he goes, no, I'll just start over. He was like, and you were like an hour and 10 minutes in, and he just went, and we just started over. And
that's always dedication when somebody will do that for you. They're like 3 episodes in, like, dude, I'll just start with you.
It was the most, I was like, I love you, dude. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. But what was even funnier is the scenes he had just watched like 45 minutes earlier, he was still like,
oh yeah,
he did it. He did it.
Yeah, just like a puppy dog with a new ball. It's like, this is fucking the best day ever, dude.
Dude, I love sharing the things I love with people I love, and I was like, we were like, bro, did you see? That's why I'm
replay, so we're on the same exact time.
Right.
I'm very much. I know it's a debate people have where they're like, I don't want to see if you've already seen it, and like if I'm watching with a girl or a guy, whatever. I'm like, no. I want to watch it again with you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that kind of ruins. Let's watch one we both haven't seen. I'm like, no, I want to watch this with you. I want to share this with you.
I think next time you're on a flight, you got to do it with the person sitting next to you. Like, without them knowing, pick exactly what they're doing and click it at the same time. And they're like, this shit's getting good. Just rope them in.
Dude, they used to do that, right? Like buses and planes used to play a movie. Yeah, so you're all watching it together.
Dell-sized TV in the middle.
I
Everybody would be watching.
I think that's something we don't have anymore as a society. It's like the shared experience viewing. Because even the things that we've talked about this before, but like the Last of Us was a big show everyone watched.
Yeah.
But like some might have started at 9:02, some started at 9:00, and you don't really feel it. Even like live events, because some people are watching on streaming, some people are watching on cable, some people are watching it on apps and shit like that. And you're like, no one's really watching this again. So you send tweets about it, and people are like, oh, I'm not even at that part yet.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's a football game. What do you mean you're not at that part yet? Or I see tweets, I'm like, I'm not at that part yet. I did it the other day with Mike Grinnell. I was watching the Bruins, and Grinnell tweeted like, holy shit, goal of the year. And I for the next like 5 minutes, I was like, "When's this goal happening? When's this goal?" He was watching a different game, but
and it's funny to just like tweet random shit about sports during like the biggest sporting events. Like it was March Madness or whatever. You can just start tweeting. I can't believe he would say that.
Yeah,
like,
nobody knows. Yeah.
So
I'm trying to give up Twitter, sports Twitter. I can't do it anymore. I
deleted the
all
app
my
as
days.
a whole, dude.
Did you? So I'm trying. I've been talking about this with all of our guests recently. I have a burner that I use for. I do still think Twitter is a great place for information.
Yeah, no, I wish I still had it.
I don't tweet from it.
And
I don't interact. I just have a timeline. But I don't have mentions, so I don't get caught up in arguing with people and all that shit.
Do you tweet at people? Or
no. So I don't send tweets.
Who's doing that? KG?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Durant.
Durant loves his burner.
So he had the burner
openly says like, I have my burner.
So funny.
Which is
you
like,
don't do that?
No. Well, we'll see. We'll see what I get into.
Yeah, you would publicly admit it.
Yeah. Like eventually I'm gonna start fucking. But I was like, that's my first step to just getting rid of it altogether because it really does not.
All social media?
No. Twitter. It does not bring you any value, right?
No, I mean it used to be before TikTok. That was the video spot. Like it did great for me.
More so than Instagram.
There was a period where because it has the shareability. This is pre-Reels. This is pre-TikTok.
Reels kind of help, like it's got there, but Instagram just misses the straight up retweet, like the bam, and then it's on your timeline.
Retweet can just snowball the fuck out of something. I mean, that's just how viral works. I mean, that's why like my first videos that did well in like 2017 were on Facebook because just reshare. Yeah, and it can just snowball effect.
Yeah,
so it's great for that.
Right on your page. That's it.
And then all the video people went to TikTok when that happened, and then so did I. And then I started posting on Twitter again, and every time I'd post, I'd like lose followers. I was like, guys, what am I doing? I'm just it's the same. But there was a moment where it was like that was a place. Everything was hit, and then it just stopped. And then it just psychologically
the worst.
I would like lose followers making a video, and then I'm like, is the video not funny? And they're like, no, you're just not active, and you post a video every 2 weeks. Like people just like, why do I follow this?
Yeah. Terrible. I've been doing that. I'd never unfollowed. I've started I unfollowed Netflix. I was like, why the fuck do I follow Netflix?
Yeah, right.
Like there's retweeting stuff about beef, and I'm like, I don't even fucking watch the show. What the fuck do I care about this?
Also, I don't know how they decide what to feed you, but like I'm getting right-wing political nuts, and then I'm getting like they're feeding me both sides.
You get stuff on your timeline?
Yeah,
my timeline
is they have like the For You.
Yeah, I'd never use that.
But if you do that, it's like interesting to see what they feed you and why. Vids that go hard is one of them.
I heard that.
That's the page. I like going on Facebook still. The pages are unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. There's nothing better than like a very political like meme that's like desaturated 45 times. It's grainy. It looks like it went through the washing machine. You know?
I saw a guy just get hit in the head with an axe the other day.
Jesus.
Like, and I knew what was going to happen. And I watched it. It was like,
around for this.
You know what it was? Dude, remember that horrible video like last winter maybe? Where the neighbors fought over the shoveling in the snow, and the guy just came out.
I didn't see it, but I
remember
bad.
Tim Dillon was talking about.
Yeah, it was bad, and the guy just took a screenshot of like the garage that it happened in, and he posted it as like this was the most fucked up thing I've ever seen on the internet. And he didn't post the video, but it was like if you've seen it, you remember it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's like when you see the
Mr.
casting
Haynes.
couch.
Yeah,
You just know like the scene from it.
You see a horse,
and then you know what's coming next. And then someone said like, yeah, that one was bad, not as bad as this one. And I watched it. And it was a guy, I think they were on meth or something. It said 2 teenagers. They were sitting on a couch like this. Imagine if you just had your head buried in your phone, and he was holding a hatchet. And I was just like, I know what's going to happen. I know what he's going to do with that. And I watched it anyway, and it just went.
Just to the homie?
And it stuck in there, and it made a noise like a watermelon splashing on the sidewalk.
Jesus.
And then he just walked. And I
This is on
watched
Twitter?
it. So what's wrong with me?
Dude,
On Twitter.
I think about the time I
Zero
stopped.
filters.
None, which I kind of like. I'm like, it is sort of the last bastion, the last like Wild West, but we don't need that.
That's crazy.
I think the day I stopped putting down red cards, I stopped watching videos that I knew was gonna be horrific.
What do you mean red cards was that?
When I when I was like, I can't have a Bank of America on the dinner
Oh,
table.
yeah.
I was like, I'm not. When someone's like, hey, this video's really bad, I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it. Then.
I did used to have some warped like pride in like I've seen everything on the internet, man. I'm from the internet 1.0. I've olden days. You don't remember Faces of Death.
Well, like,
it's like,
there was, like,
you're not cool if you watch
leaks.com.
meth heads chop each other's heads off.
My roommate in college would do that. His kid Gary, he'd like come in my room like 7 a.m. Saturday. We're both extremely hungover. He's like, you want to see somebody get beheaded? No.
No.
Good.
For
He's like,
Gary,
"All right."
Gary was the first red flag. Gary, that name.
Yeah,
that name's
but
trouble,
then he
bro.
would like sit in the living room. You could just hear the video, and he would laugh like, "Oh, that's crazy."
Yeah.
man." You're just playing it. Now I gotta visualize it. But I think there was always that one kid who knew like way too much about like leak.com or like E-Bombs World and all that shit.
Yeah.
We were talking before you came in here about like your nighttime movies and like shit you fall asleep to.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
And recently my genre has been like dark, depressing shit. And I'm not watching it full. Like I put it on like once I decide, okay, I'm going to bed. Like there's a lot of times where I'm like, I'll just vibe and I'll just chill in bed but I want to actively watch TV still. But like then it's like, okay, this is like I'm gonna start going to sleep now.
Yeah.
And I'll put it on and it's been Spotlight. The Boston,
It's about the Catholic Church raping children.
the Globe rapes.
That's his sleepy time.
That's your white
Go to bed.
noise.
But
Yeah.
it's a very
I think you
calm.
should go back to that doctor you were at. My shoulder's my brain. What happened?
It's a very calm show. Like they a lot of movies like you don't know when they're gonna get loud and shit like that. It's through it. It's
The
always
rapes
very
are
calm.
quiet. The children rape
There's
quiet.
no rape in the fucking show in the movie, and then the music's very soothing. It's kind of like church belly music for apropos reasons. But I wake up a lot now. And so like I just put it back on whenever I wake up. I have my remote right there. So like just last night, whoever's monitoring my HBO Max sees I watched Spotlight 4 times. Like I put it on at 11, I put it on at 4 a.m., I put it on at 6 a.m., I put it on at 8 a.m. Like I just wake up,
Bro,
but
your
I
algorithm is fucked.
I fall asleep in 20 seconds. I
Your
really watch
neighbors
none of
look
the
through
movie.
your window and like, what the fuck?
No, they have the other
6
view.
a.m.?
They see me pounding off to it.
Oh, hell yeah, there you go. There you go, neighbor. That's a proud American right there.
He's watching porn on the TV.
That's a good Catholic boy right there.
It's Ruffalo being like, we gotta stop these priests.
Yeah, I was like, I fall asleep to Pawn Stars. I thought I was fucking weird.
Then I've also been hitting
Kreischer-
Worth is another one.
Kreischer listens to a Hitler podcast every night.
That's
to go to
like
sleep.
that's what Tom always gets
Yeah,
on, right?
it's like what the fuck is that?
You know what?
So he
that's
just has like
wild.
incredible facts about Hitler
Well,
all
it's
the time.
all the vodka in his head. They just marinate together, and they're just like, this feels.
and who knows
right.
what you're getting? Because the thing is, you're right. When you do that shit, you fall asleep quickly. But I don't know. Your ears are still hearing it. Your
I have
brain's
heard you're
probably
supposed
still
to put on something
processing.
in different languages to fall asleep because your brain is like so lost in what they're saying that you kind of just doze
that's
out.
good.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't connect to it. It's just white noise, but you're like, I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And you can't understand.
Yeah,
it.
it's gotta be
I
something you're
usually
not actually
did, like-
interested in, but you don't. You know.
I usually did like comedies that I've seen a million times.
Yeah,
Because then it basically became a bedtime story. Like I wouldn't even watch the TV.
that's
I'd
true.
roll over, but I've seen it 10,000 times. I can literally picture it in my head, and it's just someone telling me a story.
Yeah.
And then, but then they first of all, we complained so long about Netflix asking if you're still watching that no one else asks anymore. And now you just wake up 9 seasons deep.
Yeah,
right? Like it doesn't ever
you
turn
can't
off.
remember what episode you're on, and actually,
like Modern Family's still running, Veep's still running. Like it's like I want to go to bed. I don't want to wake up to this still be on it because you definitely have a worse sleep. So I've started going to sleep to movies, and it seems like I said, it's been Spotlight and Worth. So horrific.
Worth?
That's the one where Michael Keaton plays the lawyer who's actually from Brockton, Mass, I believe, who decides what every family gets.
For 9/11, right? Jeez.
Yeah. Another slow. It doesn't show the act of 9/11. It's slow and soothing, and it's just discourse rather than chaos happening.
You know, everybody's got the white noise. I use like a $7 fan. From
how about just?
You know what's fucked up is that I always tell the story about how Theo Epstein. That's like one of my craziest stories. Theo Epstein, when he left the Red Sox, had like a full expose in ESPN, the magazine, or whatever it was, and it was just talking about his end of the end of his tenure in Boston, and he was talking about how depressed he was and how much anxiety he had just throughout his whole career there, and he said he knew he had to get out when one night he was at Fenway and his office overlooked Fenway, and Fenway was lights out. So it's this dark, empty field, empty stadium, and he was just staring out, listening to the air traffic controllers' recordings of plane crashes. What the? I was like, "That's insane!" And then now I'm probably about Theo's age.
Mayday, we're going now. We're going.
I would guess I'm about Theo's age at that time when he left the Red Sox. I would guess he was probably about 34.
That's the next one.
Yeah, right? Slippery slope.
Shit gets depressing in your late 30s, man. Watch the fuck out. You've been in the game so long that you're like,
I'd say
you're 30, but you're like 50. You know what I mean?
In fucking
you got
digital
dog years. Yeah. I mean,
that's what's
you
great
still,
about.
You look like you're in shape and shit.
Yeah, dude, I still
like,
got auditions for like an 18-year-old kid. I like vape for auditions. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Let me hit that puff bar to feel something. I mean, I'm fucking 30. I've been making videos since I was like 20. So
crazy.
You know, I mean, but that's what's great about the stand-up world. Like, it goes until you're dead. People die with dates on the tour and then literally in the grave. So it's like, you know, video stuff I love doing, and I like still love it. I think, you know, you hit a point where just the videos, like, due to Mr. Beast, like, YouTube is not what it was 5 years ago. Like, that type of comedy. Everybody on YouTube is like doing like challenges. It's like $5 sandwich versus $10,000 sandwich, and you're like, I must fucking figure it out. Is it a tuna melt with too much mayo? What? That's kind of the lane it's in, and it's like I don't really want to adapt to that because it's not my style. And maybe I'll try it, and if it bombs, whatever. But I'm also just like, that's the way the internet's going. Stand up is always stand up.
Yeah, but also, you know, the internet comes and goes.
Of course. And I still make the content that I make. And
you should, man, because it's like that. First of all, it's going to be what you're good at because you're into it. Your heart's in it.
Yeah, I don't want to chase the trends.
And because then, you know, by the time you master the challenge trend, the algoritm's like, nope, we don't do that anymore. Yeah. It's like,
that's why I just steady stay with what I do.
Yeah. Yep.
And just as it has its like peaks and troughs.
You might not hit the highest of highs, but you're not gonna hit the lows either. You just kind of stay in between.
Keep maintaining.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing fuel at the fire.
Dude, Mr. Beast it's wild. He kind of like set me free in a way.
Really?
Where I was like, when he cured all those blind people.
Yeah.
And people were mad at him. I was like,
that's crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna stop like trying to please everybody because even this guy, you could do like the nicest. They got on the other day. He gave a girl a car, and this is the same thing when they did with Oprah too. It's like, oh great, you just gave someone a big tax bill, and they were like, he offered to pay the taxes, and he also offered to give you the cash value of the car if you couldn't take the car. So what about that? And it's just like it's hard. I actually almost do understand because it's hard to imagine someone just being that nice because the world sucks. Right. But he's like, and yes, there are some personal motivations that like, it's like, yeah, my channel's going to get bigger and I will make more money. But he also has his foundation is like every penny I make here goes to people who need it. And they're like, well, that's fucking, you know, you're doing it for clicks. It's like,
what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's either that or mukbangs. What are we doing? Giving out cars or eating sandwiches.
That is the thing. They are often, you know, interesting or touching or funny, and it's like a good content.
To your point, I think I've been on YouTube for 6-7 years. It's like the the phases that it goes through is wild. It's like David Dobrik's vlogs were everywhere. That was the thing. And that was like the challenge base. There was a minute where it was like mukbangs, there was ASMR. Sketch comedy has never really been, well, there's definitely times with sketch comedy, I'd say back in the day, like maybe like 2013, 2014. It was like,
it was never like the thing. I know what you mean.
It might peak for a little bit, but it was never like, it's just always been steady. But it's always like these like challenges or like pranks. Like pranks in 2015 with like FouseyTube and like Vitali, if you know those guys. Those were like the OG like prank. And that was when the monetization was crazy. These dudes were making like $100K on like a video. And then
just wild.
They buy a Bugatti and just total it and get a couple Deweys. Didn't monetize that. That's what you got to do. Getting a DUI in my Bugatti.
No, you see, were you the one telling me about it? There was one recently that he got shot, right? There was a YouTuber that got shot.
I think I saw it.
And he's got the video and he's not releasing it. I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Patreon.com.
Yeah, right.
Real,
put that bitch behind a paywall.
For real. And then
He got shot?
is Nick there? That's Jack.
Like outside like a cheesecake.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know who
he got kidnapped by the Taliban.
Do you
I
know
shouldn't laugh, but he went to some YouTuber went to like I guess
Lord Miles, I believe his name is.
I don't.
And
do we know him? What I know?
Do you want to know why I know him?
No.
Do you know who his right hand man is?
On YouTube?
Take a guess.
Is that
Nope. Much closer to us.
much closer to us? That went through my head, and I was like, "Nah."
I don't know exactly what he does for, but I know he. I think he.
But so, wait,
like
do you know what this guy did? He just went to like film the.
Yeah, I know what his thing is. Is he just goes to? He went to Ukraine like once the war started. He's
a war chaser.
He not
like
war. It just he goes to the most dangerous places in the world and like YouTube's it.
Guess what?
He did. I honestly don't know if I can say. I don't think I know one he did that is like highly illegal and. I'm not going to say it because
ain't no snitches here.
I actually think it might be out. Let me Google it.
Just vlog January 6th.
If it's out,
there had to be somebody who vlogged January 6th, right?
Had to be.
What's up, guys? Here is Storm of the Capitol, brought to you by Blue Chew. What did the dude who got captured recently? Is that out? Is that public?
Is that this guy?
That's him.
That's
yeah.
him. So yeah, I don't know what. Give me a Google.
Okay, so he did it. He went. It's a posted. He went to Snake Island. Which is like an island with like it's just
snakes.
It's illegal to go on. It's off the coast of Brazil.
Yeah,
it's just full of snakes. Like I think it's some shit like a Brazilian naval ship like crashed off at once that had snakes on it, and then they just fucking multiplied, and it's like Indiana Jones just overrun with snakes. And he went on it because he's British, and he went on it like in like full medieval armor and like ran across the island or some shit like that.
That's fun.
And like
that is actually. Sounds like a dope YouTube.
I thought he was going to dress up like a snake. So he got captured there or no?
No.
This was the Taliban.
This
the
is separate.
Taliban, yeah.
So he, I don't know, goes to Afghanistan to film a fucking vlog and gets snatched
I mean,
up
that
by the
sense
tally.
alone, yeah, I could have told you that. A vlog in Afghanistan is
not
asking
gonna
for
work,
something.
dude. I mean, that's got to be one of those like, it'll never happen to me. It's like, bro, it's gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
Would you rather?
Doing this?
Would you rather get fucking eaten by a snake or captured by the Taliban?
Eat by snake. That's gonna go faster.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but at
snake
least,
bite. You're
but like
done.
Taliban might be.
I
might let you out.
Yeah, but I think I'd rather just die. If they're gonna torture me.
But no, maybe not even. I'm just thinking maybe like I don't know. Sometimes the Taliban is like they want to keep the peace relatively. If they're just like killing YouTube vloggers, I think they're gonna get in trouble.
Well, there actually was last week. I think it was the Taliban. A lot of employees, I suppose you call them, are upset at the lack of jihad. They're
it's not hardcore.
I heard something else.
Yeah, it's like I just got a 9-to-5 job now. Like I have to fucking
where the suicide bombs? Where
I'm gonna Google that
virgins?
too. It is shit? Like it's I'm gonna just go Taliban tired of work.
You know what that is, bro? That's
no
like
wonder you have a privacy screen over there.
wait, you're tired of the war?
Yeah, here is March 17th, 2023. Time magazine headline is Taliban militants fed up with office culture, ready to quiet quit. This is time.com, dude.
Where's HR?
Yo.
Yeah, dude.
Almost 2 years after the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan.
Working from home after the pandemic, dude, nobody wants to work anymore.
The jihadists who transitioned from battlefields to paper-pushing government jobs in the city are ready to quit. The Afghanistan Analyst Network, a nonprofit policy research organization working to increase the understanding of life in Afghanistan, released a report last month examining how jihadists who took over the Kabul, many of them arrived in the capital for the first time, were finding the new city life and their new roles. I'm gonna find a couple of tidbits in here.
Bro.
We couldn't destroy the Taliban, but office work destroyed the Taliban, said one TikToker.
You know what this is?
A TikTok is like
This is Barstool.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Barstool, we got an email from HR this week that was like,
HR here?
Exactly, bro. We have HR, and they've turned into like the party planning committee, basically.
Oh, really?
And they sent an email.
They try to be fun, like you.
Yes,
narcs.
it was around the Masters, so they were like, "Put your work away and come up before 5 o'clock because we're gonna party." And we were like,
there was a lot of thought that went into it.
yeah.
Bro.
And so we were like, Barstool is no longer edgy. These guys, the Taliban's like, we got to blow up some buildings.
Yeah, dude, I checked in at the front desk. They had a whole thing of masks here. I was like, what is this? Not that I'm a political guy, but I'm like, whoa.
Fucking lame as shit.
I thought it'd be like just craft singles out there or something, dude. Fucking cheese me up, dog.
Huzaifa, a 24-year-old former sniper, said, the Taliban used to be free of restrictions, but now we sit in one place behind a desk and a computer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Life becomes very wearisome. You do the same thing every day. In our ministry, there's little work for me to do, said Abu Nafi, 25. Therefore, I spend most of my time on Twitter. We're connected to speedy Wi-Fi and internet.
Bro,
many mujahideen, including me, are
Twitter's
addicted to the
unifying.
internet, especially Twitter.
this is
Start a podcast.
Barstool.
That's what I
Everyone, start your
Start a
podcast next.
podcast. Also, he's 24, retired. Dude, that's
Yo,
crazy.
Dude, this
Hey,
guy's
I recommend Taliban do some hypothetical questions.
Start a
Have some
podcast.
porn stars on.
Yeah.
It'll work.
What I don't like about Kabul is it's ever increasing traffic.
You know, we all that different around the world. There's traffic, LA, New
All
York,
the
there.
same, man.
It's all
These
the
days,
same.
you have to go to the office before 8 a.m. and stay until 4 p.m. If you don't go, you're considered absent, and this wage for
p.m. 's
that
not
day is
bad.
cut for your
Let's be
salary.
honest.
We're now used to it, but it's especially difficult in the first 2 or 3 months. Bro, imagine being like the sniper. Like, bro, I used to fucking pop heads, and now I'm just addicted to Twitter. That you want to spread peace and democracy? It'll work for a little bit. It'll go the other way pretty quick too. But just get everyone on Twitter.
Yeah.
And like again, it will spoil.
What was that Drake line?
But-
Trigger fingers turned to Twitter,
Twitter fingers, yeah.
Drake was predicting the future.
That's the new jihad fucking Taliban line.
Why does everybody hate each other? We're all the same. We're all the same.
Yeah.
Could you
Everybody's
imagine
on Twitter just yelling at somebody.
a fucking a Taliban diss track? Your trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers is so fucking perfect, man. You pussies don't even. One of my favorite things on the internet, always and forever, will be the Taliban training videos where they like can't do jumping jacks and shit.
It wasn't Taliban. It was the Iraq. It was the Iraq. Army.
Iraq.
Because it was the U.S.
When we
military
try to like install our like puppet regimes, we send over all the weapons and shit to whatever side we're on, you know, and then we send over like our armies to train them. And they are such spazzes for some reason. I don't know. They just I don't know. They're not.
If you've never done a jumping jack, it's a. I bet you can't do a correct jumping jack right now.
I bet you I could.
This is this is PE days.
Do I not know what a jumping jack is?
All right, you nailed it.
I was curious to know where this was going.
Dude, I also was like, maybe I don't know what I'm doing with a jumping jack. But because they
The school ones, you
go
got to
like-
get the like you connect. Your
When I was a kid,
they were like their legs were wrong.
it's a lot. Well, it's like when you could do this in class.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
pat and the head rub.
That was good. You
Dude.
did it.
Yeah, dude.
I can do it, but I gotta like
dude.
think about it for a
Yeah,
second.
oh yeah. I
You
popped
just
an
ripped
Addy
it,
this
dude.
morning. We're good. Yeah.
I struggled for a bit.
With jumping jacks?
I just couldn't. I would have my arms going out as my legs were coming
That's
in.
what- yeah, you were doing
And I
it.
couldn't line it
Well,
up.
you are a spaz.
I got it now. Don't worry. 34 years in.
But those
I
guys, I also
Practicing
think those
jumping
guys
jacks
are
while
like.
watching Spotlight.
But I remember reading part of that was like they are. It's statistically like the dumbest place on earth because they're just like uneducated. They don't go to school. And they're like not.
I'm worried about
like-
drones dropping bombs out of the sky. I don't
I
think
do
I'll
calisthenics.
need calculus.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Love it.
So what I mean it's weird. So we have a couple people at Barstool like your age and even some of them younger started at like 18.
Yeah.
But you're like 10 years in the game.
Yeah.
Podcast is killing it. Doing specials, doing stand up. Like it's almost like you just keep doing this. You know, like
I think
what?
so.
You know,
This
just
is
do this
the
for
new-
a couple more decades.
Social
like,
media used to be like the SoundCloud where you get discovered on YouTube and then you get drafted to the big leagues.
Right.
But now the big leagues is social media.
It's just you're
That's
here.
where the consumers are.
Yeah.
It's like people in my field want to go on TV, but actors want to have the social followings. It's like the grass is always the type of green.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be embarrassing to be like 36, but like, swipe up. But,
right.
I mean, that's the future.
Making the money is
It's also
growing
the
your
norm.
fan base.
It's
It's
the
like
norm.
it's,
Like 5 years ago, if you said you're a YouTuber, I mean, somebody would just ash a cigarette on your forehead and be like, become a member of society, you piece of shit.
Dude,
But
same
now,
shit with blogger. Like,
dude,
that's a real, you get paid for that?
There's
job?
articles that like kids now in school, they say like what their dream job is. It's all like YouTubers.
It's crazy.
Like 20 years ago, it was like firefighter or whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck.
astronaut.
But now
I
TikTok, I want to be Charlie D'Amelio.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what they put. So like, this is the now.
You know what I was
totally fine
talking
doing
about?
this.
Jacob Sartorius. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
I think sadly, he was like one of the most like hated dudes on the internet at like 13. And I think it like fucked with him good. He,
I can imagine.
He made a great business. Like
that happened to the
writing business, but he himself was like
Star Wars kid came out a while ago too and was like, because like Star Wars kid, that was the only video he ever
fat
did.
Kid on the
and he's like, it ruined me.
Yeah, it was like,
as a
I had
person.
a billion people making fun of me for being a fat nerd.
Well, that's why I think the gradual rise to popularity in any social aspect is really the best for your brain. Because if you just wake up one day, all of a sudden you're just everywhere. It's just everything. It's just overstimulating, and then your next calculated move is dependent on what they want, not what you want.
Yep.
You're like, what's the next video? What do they want? But you don't have enough of a foundation to know what the next month looks like.
Right. No, and it's like also they are stupid. So don't worry about what they want. They're fucking morons.
I mean, that's what rappers, they fuck up if they have the one hit. They don't have a big catalog, and their one hit pops off. You're like, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
Right.
There's not really a right. It's hard because if you make something that sounds too close to the original song, like, this shit sounds like the same. But if you go too far off, like, the fuck is this?
We liked you because of the old shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be
I also
kinda
feel the same
slow
thing
with
with
that.
TV shows. Like True Detective, the writer for season 1, worked on that like his whole life. That was his idea like 10 years ago that he perfected, and then they were like, cool, season 2 in 9 months.
Same thing with comedy specials. You work 8 years, 9 years, 10 years on a comedy special, and then the streamer's like, that was great. You did awesome numbers. It's been 9 months. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't think I. Then they hand you a check, and you're like,
That's the problem.
Minnesota, here I come.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot recently about adding shows when you sell out.
Yeah.
Doing specials like every year. The new material shit. Like, I'm actually all for writing new material. I think you got to keep it, like, of course, fresh. But adding shows when you've just sold out and accomplished something, and now you just set yourself back, and you're worried about selling those new tickets.
Yeah, literally had
and
the
I
conversation
think a lot of comics, I think a lot of you guys put pressure on the idea of I have to do a special, and it's like, why? I don't think you need to. I really don't think you need
Bobby
to.
Lee
I think
has
you should
never
do it
done a
when you're
special.
like,
And he's
do it
been
when you're
running the same hour.
fucking 40 years in the game and you have perfected this. Then do it. It's
I
special.
was to say I'm shooting a special in June, so I'm going against that. But I understand.
I just don't think you. If you want to do it. I don't think you should have to. You know?
I also
and you
think
don't
that
have
there's this idea that once you shoot a special, you have to scrap everything that was in that special. You can never do a joke again. Dude, Theo does half of his special, and people love him.
Yeah.
They almost, it's to the point where
Bert
it's like,
does the machine every single show.
well, dude,
people want to
it's like
hear
Dice
that.
Clay. Like they're yelling out. Like
Yes.
Theo has one of the funniest opening lines. But I'm not even gonna do it because it wouldn't do it justice. But he did it on both specials, and then he does it when he's still doing spots in LA.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a point. People just like you
People
for you.
love it.
Right.
You hold yourself to the standard.
Sickler just dropped Lefty's Boy and Lefty's Son, and he, you know, I know a lot of you guys usually put the crowd work clips up, but the actual jokes are for the special only. You just cut the whole thing up and put it on social. It's like, that's how you're going to reach the
There's
most
no
people.
right or
People are going to
wrong
watch
way,
it on
yeah.
social media. And then when they see it in the special around all the other jokes, it's okay, you know?
Yeah, you have one big meal, and then you're using the clips as like pieces of like bread to just throw out in a track. Just be like, because one of these will hit.
Yeah.
Then it all draws to the same thing.
We did the Blackout tour many years ago at Barstool. It was like an EDM drug tour. And we had a DJ, Dante, who's now become like a blogger for us. But he used to make like really dope mixes, like really good party playlists, great at blending songs, all that shit. And I think he even made a couple original tracks as well. And he never, remember this when he never published them because he was afraid people were gonna like steal them or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, so you're just, what are you talking about? Like you're never gonna put the music out. What do you mean? You know? And I don't know. Maybe it was like in Home Alone, Kevin McAllister said he didn't want to put on his rollerblades because they were so new and he didn't want to ruin them. And then he outgrew them and he never fucking wore the rollerblades again. I remember being like, these fucking mixes are awesome. Put them out. People will love them. And if it's so good that people are jacking it from you, That's amazing. To be like, I'm so good that people are stealing my shit.
It happens all the time with stand-up. It's like you get a new bit and you're like, I love this bit. I can't wait to do it. And then you keep doing it. And you're like, I wouldn't put it on tape. I love this bit. And then you just stop doing it randomly.
Yeah.
And you're like,
well, because you're sick of it and you don't think it's good.
You also get newer, more updated to your life material or more fun or more true to you or whatever. But then you're like, I could have. It's just sitting in the back of my head somewhere. It's not anywhere.
Bro, the worst part for us is we do so much shit that is evergreen.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's a whole new wave of people getting on the internet for the first time or getting into podcasts for the first time who want to argue about 10,000 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck or, those classic, like, internet things. And it's like, we already blogged about that or did that argument or made that video. So I'm like, I can't do that again. That's, like, hack. But it's like, I did it 10 years ago. Yeah. Like, the people who watch that, they're dead now.
Well, also, you'd probably have a different answer today than you did 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. Yeah. Or even if you don't, though, it's like, I'll say it differently, or we'll, run it back for the new
Yeah, I mean, the attention span, like, it's just so, like, in and out, in and out, in and out. Like,
right.
I'll upload, like, an old sketch just on, like, Throwback Thursday. And sure, there's comments like, real ones know this is a re-upload or whatever. But for the other part, it's hitting a whole new audience.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to remember there's so many new people.
I got to say, I did answer the internet the second time, and I recorded it on my own in LA.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
You guys weren't there. So there's no laugh track. And people are going, dude, he's bombing. They're not even laughing. They laugh at everything. To say, there was no one there. You asked me to do it. I'm like, that's a great platform.
Yeah.
Do it. And then people are like, nobody's laughing. This kid is not funny. It's literally, I fucking went out of my way to shoot it on a green screen.
You're like the only guy that ever did that for me, too.
Fucked you. I thought maybe you guys would watch it and get live audience feedback. Good answer. I left pauses where they would laugh.
Oh man, that's funny.
I never even thought about that.
I didn't think about it until it went up.
They always laugh at everything. When you are doing it, it's like every answer has when someone crushes an answer, but also every answer is a little bit like so and then it echoes and you're laughing. We're trying to make it a fun.
But there's some noise in the background in every clip. Whether you guys are laughing or be like, "Oh, I would have done that," or "That's a good idea." There was nothing in the background. Yeah. So you think that you two are just in the back like.
And it really is the only one.
That was the only time I wanted to hop in the comments and be like, there was nobody there. There's nobody there. I don't argue in the comments, but I wanted to let people know, watch my first one.
We totally fucked you. I think I sent the idea. I think I sent green screens to people, or I was like, here's the list. I made it as a nice little package as much as I could. And a couple other people said they would do it and never filmed it. A couple other people just said no. And you were the only one who was good enough to do it. And then just fucking
and then it bit me in the fuck. Yeah, it came back and bit me, which I didn't even think about until I read the
Your
comments.
first one murdered though.
First
so
one was
that's
great. First one was awesome.
Yeah,
that's why
at least you
do. We'll stop posting clips of the second one. I never crossed my mind. I didn't know that it happened. Let's stop doing that.
Yeah, or at least put giant font, recorded with no studio audience.
Let's add a laugh track. Just
dude. It's just so funny.
It is fucking.
The thing that the internet thinks of, you're like, how would you not? I don't know. I don't know. How would you? Yeah.
Are you still bombing these days?
I've definitely bombed some
recently. I feel like when I hear that from you guys who are pros now, I'm like, no, you didn't. Well, you might think you bombed.
A new joke will be a swing and a miss sometimes. Yeah. Just premise, but then you just keep moving.
But you just know how to keep it. Yeah.
Right.
I feel like
you get in, you get
it's
out.
not that you don't bomb anymore. It's just not to fucking.
You know your jump up points and you know when to get out.
And you don't start sweating and freaking out because you bombed.
I haven't had a hard bomb in a while, but there's a comedy club in Burbank that's it's a really random crowd, and I'll just kind of go there, just workshop shit on a Monday or Tuesday, and the crowd was it was a lot older, and I think I went up there, nobody knew who I was, and I was like, great, we'll see how funny this stuff is. Definitely didn't do great, but I was just like, oh, whatever.
Well, I would imagine also if it was me, once I had millions of followers and I'm doing well monetarily, reputation wise, all that shit, if an audience doesn't it's okay, I don't know. You guys aren't for me.
Yeah,
when you're on the come up, it's maybe I'm bad at this.
Yeah, I think you're good. I was all right, I have a show after this. I'll be fine. I'll redeem myself there.
Right,
it's just the next one.
Yeah, that's. I feel like we freaks always got to keep getting on stage.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some where you're like, oh, this will crush. Or if I'm in a new city and I'm like, let me riff on this town real quick. You say one thing, they're like, we agree. And then you say one thing, they're like,
we want to murder you.
Yeah. Doesn't check out.
How much you traveling these days?
kind of a lot. I just did a big tour. It was like 44 cities over last year. But now,
where's like the furthest you've gone?
Just a bunch of like East Coast shit because I live in California, so it's like just a lot of just across the states.
Back and forth.
Yeah, but you know they're great. They're all tied together, so it'll be like I'll do like Connecticut and then like Jersey and then like back to back type of shit. So the agents are great in doing that. But yeah, I mean the reason I'm in New York right now is I'm doing some college shows in upstate and just like
I feel like those are still fucking like good money and like good audience and like
they're awesome. They're great. The kids
are you doing them at a club or the school hire?
The school. They're at the school.
Yeah.
I've done a few this semester, and they've been fucking awesome. One of them was in an ice hockey rink. I felt like Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's dope.
Ice hockey rink, lecture hall, or just like a generic theater on campus. So they're all over. Some of them are fun. Some of them are like, wow, it's a thing.
Podcasts and comedy are
have I
so
bombed lately?
popular.
What am I talking about? Yeah, dude, I did a show in Canada at a college maybe a month ago. 6 p.m., all the windows open. It's broad day, probably as bright as it is in here, right? And I was just telling somebody this story. It's so, I go, all right, it's bright as fuck. There's no opener. It's just me. It's a Canadian college. They don't have dorms. They're all commuters. It's a weird setup already. So I go, you know what? Let me do a quick Q&A up front, break the ice, little crowd work. We're maybe 30 seconds in. I see a girl up front wearing headphones, over-the-ear headphones. And I go, are you wearing headphones? And she goes, I'm autistic. You know? That was one of those, and this is immediately when the show starts.
He was like, get her out. Get her out.
I'm drenched in sweat. And I'm like, I'm like, same. I don't know what, I didn't know where to like, I felt so bad. Because if I was like 30 minutes into the act, I would have like maybe found a way to like smartfully like maneuver around it, maybe find some funny and respectful way. But this was so off the bat. I was just like,
no!
There goes my career. All right, we're going to move on. You are not wearing headphones. What is...
Sir, are you not autistic?
That show was, that was a bomb. Because I was supposed to do an hour. I did my whole set, looked at my phone, it was 35 minutes. And I go, not a lot of laughter there. Some college gigs, you'll definitely bomb. But overall, like, I always, like, have fun. Like,
I'm autistic.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that caught me so off guard. I just, like, what do you...
Yeah.
Yup.
I would have just said, so am I.
I think I said something to that regard. But, I mean, like, she was a nice lady and all that. But that show, I definitely got off and I was like, am I good?
Am I a comedian?
Do I quit this?
And how did you link up with Michael for Stiff Socks?
Met him at an open mic in LA
So
like
through,
5 years ago. Yeah, there was a open mic in Koreatown, and we were literally out front talking about coffee for some reason. I don't know what was going on. It was like me, him, and another guy. The other guy leaves, so now me and him are just bantering back and forth.
You guys,
I was
kissing.
Yeah. Blue Chew. You know. So I was thinking about quitting my job because he was doing college shows, and they were like they paid like $2,000, and at that time I was like, what the fuck, all at once, legally?
American dollars.
Yeah. And I was also making videos. So he's like, I want to make videos. You want to do colleges. I'll tell you everything. You tell me everything. We start going back and forth. And then we had this like 3-hour conversation at a coffee shop. Then like a week later, he calls me and goes like, do you want to start a podcast? And it was like the most like LA conversation ever.
I'm sure.
And yeah, then we just hit it off. And then we found our producer through a friend. And he's been the same producer for like 4.5 years. He's great.
I feel like it's funny. I feel like it could go one way or the other. You guys could link up and be like great friends and work, or it could be like Highlander, like there can only be one of us.
Right.
There can only be one of us.
It's great. I mean, there's like no ego who's too big. It's not like anything. Everybody contributes. It's a really fun, smooth process we got over there.
Have you had moments where like he blows up on a clip or whatever, and then you blow up where it's like, oh, this will be good for the pod because like my boy's killing it.
Yeah.
But you're almost like, I want to.
Dude, he's crushing it right now. He's selling tickets.
I think
like
I see both you guys everywhere.
Clips are doing well. And it's great because it all just goes back to the podcast. Whether I have a clip that does well or he has a clip, it's all under the same kind of umbrella. So
it's dope, man. It's working well. So
it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, check it out. We'd love to have you guys on when you guys
that would be great.
We actually might be going to LA soon. So
oh, dude, let us know.
We'll pop out there. All right, let's go do Answer the Internet. Promise we'll laugh. All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.